Hey friends, are you busy this summer and you want easy dinners, one pot meals for you and your family? I got you covered today. I have 6 one pot dinners for you and your family on a busy summer. So you only need a dirty one pot. It comes together pretty quick, and of course it is delicious. So if you love cooking videos and you want more of those one pot meals, go ahead and hook me up with a thumbs up for the algorithm, of course, and let's get going. Before we get started, I did want to tell you guys that if you want all of the recipes today and a shopping list so you know what to buy at the grocery store, I will have a totally free download for you down in the bloopity bloop below. Let's get going. For our Cajun chicken orzo, we're gonna kick it off with 3 chicken breasts. This is 3 very large chicken breasts cut into strips like this. And we will sprinkle your favorite Cajun seasoning. Anywhere from 1 to 3 tablespoons based on your spice tolerance and preference. And if you have one that doesn't have a lot of salt in it, we will also season our chicken with some salt. If I was using Tony's, I would not add salt because that one's very high in salt. This McCormick one does not have as much, so I will most likely add some salt as well. And we like it spicy, so I'm gonna err on the side of like 3 tablespoons here.
Yeah, no, I'm fine. I always react this way to spicy food.
A little bit of salt here. And you can use tongs or your hand to kind of mix this around. And while this is kind of marinating in the juices, go ahead and dice 1 onion, mince 2 garlic cloves, and start a large pan with a lid preheating on your stove. In my pan, I have a couple tablespoons of butter and a couple tablespoons of olive oil. And to this, I'm going to add all of my chicken and get that cooking. I guess you could do like diced chicken if you wanted it more, I guess, forkable, bite size. It kind of looks like little worms, doesn't it? Okay, there we go. We'll cook that for about 5 minutes. After the chicken's starting to get some color, time to add 1 diced onion and a 1/4 cup of chopped up sun-dried tomatoes. Oh, and don't forget your 2 cloves of garlic. Next up is 1 tablespoon of tomato paste. I love these squeezy guys, they're so convenient. 1 cup of orzo pasta and 1 cup of chicken broth. Just gonna stir this together and put the lid on until all of the liquid is absorbed. And keep an eye on it. You might have to add just a little bit of water if this orzo soaks up all the liquid really quickly. So you don't want it to be dry. Hello. It is going to sit like this for 20 minutes. Okay, after my 20 minutes, I'm adding a 1/2 cup of heavy whipping cream, and the heat is off right now. I'm just gonna stir this in and put the lid on and just let it sit for a couple of minutes so all of that can get absorbed by the pasta. And then if you want to add some cheese, you can do so after about 3 minutes of letting this sit, or you can leave it just like this. Tonight we are whipping up some creamy garlic butter salmon. So I have 6 salmon pieces right here. I did rinse them and pat them dry, and I'm just sprinkling them with some salt and pepper before I sear them in a pan. This is another 1 pot meal, although I am serving this over pasta, so technically I also have a pasta pot, just wanted to be clear about that. A good amount of salt, a good amount of pepper. Fresh ground is better, but this is easier and faster, so there's that. And I did buy the wrong size of this pepper grind, and at this point I'm just trying to use it up. Grazie. Because I'm doing 6 fillets here, I'm gonna use a fairly large heated skillet with a good amount of butter. In my very large skillet, I have a mixture of butter and olive oil in here that is melting, and we're gonna do a sear, maybe 4 or 5 minutes of each side of the salmon. And I'm putting the flesh side down, and I'll season the skin side. A little bit more pepper. And as soon as these are done, I'll pull them out on a plate to rest, and we'll mix up our sauce in this same pan. 5 minutes later, let's do a flip, cook the other side. I know this is gonna be delicious because of the amount of butter in this pan that is still here. In the same pan with the same butter, I am putting in a few cloves of garlic and 1 diced onion. Okay, with the onion nice and soft, I am adding about 1/2 of this jar of, what is this? Julienne style sun-dried tomatoes with some of the oil, about 1/2 the jar, so maybe 4 ounces or so. 2.5 cups of 1/2 and 1/2. About 1 teaspoon of chicken base, chicken bouillon, chicken concentrate. I'll turn my heat up a little bit and we'll start bringing this together. I'll probably add some more pepper and I will be adding cheese. 3/4 cup of Parmesan cheese. Stir that in. If it's looking too thick, we can add some pasta water. If it's too thin, I do have some heavy cream standing by that we could also do. I have some mozzarella. I don't know, we're just gonna see how this goes. Now my pasta, I'm just gonna throw the pasta right in here and soak up all this amazing sauce. But first I will taste for salt before I add the pasta. Oh, I think I went a little too hot. I think I curdled my half and half. Don't make it too hot or it'll curdle. Okay, a little bit of pasta water and a hair of heavy whipping cream. Yeah, definitely curdled my half and half. Oh well, still tastes good. For this Instant Pot coconut chicken curry, I'm starting on the saute function with some olive oil at the bottom, to which I'm going to add some diced onion, some squeezy ginger, and garlic. So I have about 1 onion, 1 tablespoon of the ginger, and 2 to 4 garlic cloves. But because I am desperately trying to get rid of this garlic powder, this is what I am using today, just because I'm so close to being done with this thing and then I'm never buying garlic powder again because I never use these. I've had this one since, well, the expiration date is 2019, so you do the math. Saute for about 3 minutes. Okay, after 3 minutes, I'm adding 1 cup of tomato puree. This is just home canned that I made last year. You could also puree some tomatoes in a blender or something. 1 cup of that and a whole bunch of spices. Here they are. I have paprika, salt, turmeric, ground coriander, and ground cumin. Let that go for 30 seconds and then we will add our chicken. In go 2 pounds of boneless, skinless chicken thighs. You can cut these into bite-sized pieces, but this is easier and I don't want to. So we'll saute the chicken in here for, like in all these spices, for maybe 4 to 5 minutes, something like that. At this point, I'll add a 1/2 cup of water, pop the lid on, and we are going to do a manual for 5 minutes. After you take the lid off, I am now going to add 1 can of coconut milk. Cold in my house, so mine's like a little solid. It'll be fine. And in saute mode, saute it for 3 to 4 minutes or so. And at this point, if you want, you can add extra vegetables. I have this broccoli that I'm gonna add. I thought about doing cauliflower and broccoli, but then realized that just might be too much. So I'm gonna go ahead and put that broccoli in there, let that saute together, and then we'll see how thick our sauce is. The sauce is pretty loose, so I think I'm gonna do a cornstarch slurry just to thicken it up a little. But at this point, I'm gonna, oh dang. I'm gonna add the juice of 2 limes after I drop that everywhere. Maybe 1 lime. Wow, that one's juicy. Okay, juiciest lime ever, holy smokes. Cornstarch slurry right here. I'm just gonna let it simmer for a couple more minutes until that thickens up. Taste for seasoning, and then we will serve. Okay, I am, of course, serving this with rice because I don't know any other way to do it. Like you have to have rice. Look at that delicious sauce. I have the broccoli. You can obviously add more veggies. And I'm gonna garnish this with some cilantro, extra lime for those that want it, and some mini naans. How cute are those? Oh my gosh, I'm dying. This one pot meal is a quinoa Mexican bowl. So I'm gonna start out with a little bit of olive oil in a warm pan, and to this olive oil, I will add some garlic and jalapeno to saute in my oil. And this is my favorite way to do garlic, is a microplane. So you don't get your hands and knife and cutting board all sticky, and it makes the pieces really, really small, which is amazing. Especially if you have people in your family that don't like huge chunks of garlic. This like purees it, so you almost can't even tell it's there. There's no chunks, there's just flavor. You see that? It's just like grated puree. And I have 2 jalapenos here. You don't have to use 2, you could use 1. You could use 5, it's whatever you want. So these will saute together for just a few minutes. And the rest of this really kind of is a dump and go. So first of all, 1 can of tomatoes, diced tomatoes. Yikes! 1 can of drained and rinsed black beans, 1 cup of quinoa. Now, if you've ever tried to cook quinoa and you find it tastes like bitter or dirty, it's because it has to be rinsed. There's a film on the outside of it. So put it in a strainer like this and run it through with cold water, just a fine mesh strainer like this, and it'll taste much better. I'm doing about 1 cup of corn. So not this whole container, but a good amount of it. About a teaspoon of cumin. So I'm gonna try and bring this all up to temperature. And this is almost all of the ingredients. We just have a little bit more, so let's try to heat this up for a second and I will show you the rest. After warming it up for a few minutes, I'm adding 1 cup of water and enough salt to taste. So I'm just eyeballing the salt amount, just a little sprinkle like that. Give everything 1 more quick stir. We do want to bring this up to a boil, and then we will drop it back to a simmer and pop that lid on. We'll put that on a simmer for 20 minutes. For tonight's taco spaghetti, I'm starting with 1 pound of ground beef, a half a cup of diced onion, and 1 minced clove of garlic. Grab your Dollar Tree meat masher and cook until everything is browned and the onions are translucent. Once your meat is browned and it looks like this, we will add 3 ingredients. 14-ounce can of diced tomatoes, 1 packet of taco seasoning. I got this one from Thrive Market. If you haven't checked out Thread Market, I'll leave a link below. 2 cups of water, mix to combine. This is probably the point where I should mention that the pot you're using does need a lid. You do need a lid for this. Into this goes 8 ounces of raw spaghetti. Think I can break this? Oh yeah! Stir and mush. Okay, there's raw spaghetti going in. The dog just ate it. Oh my gosh, what? I'm trying to mix it in. It's like, it's being really stubborn. Okay, bring to a boil. If you look real close right there, it is boiling. So at this point, reduce to a simmer, put the lid on, and set your timer for 12 minutes. That's when we'll check it. Oh, that's hot. I am at the 15-minute mark. The pasta mostly looks cooked. So what I will do now is turn the heat off. Add 1 cup of shredded cheddar cheese into this. I guess you could use pepper jack also. And lid back on for another 5 minutes or so, just to let that pasta finish soaking up the rest of the juice. Now this meal only serves 4. I think it's the perfect meal to add an easy side salad. Caesar doesn't really go with tacos, but it does go with spaghetti, so we're just gonna roll with it. I'm gonna mix up this Caesar salad kit to go along with our 1-pot taco spaghetti, and dinner will be served. Remember, this is only a meal for 4, so if you have more people than that, you might need to double it. You are going to absolutely love this Instant Pot shrimp and broccoli. It comes together in minutes and cooks for literally 0 minutes. I know, it sounds so crazy. I'm gonna start off with my sauce today, which is going to kick off with 6 tablespoons of your favorite soy sauce. All of my sauce ingredients are going in first. 4 tablespoons of oyster sauce, 2 teaspoons of brown sugar. I like a little extra brown sugar, so I'm gonna go a little more than that. 2 teaspoons of rice vinegar, which is sealed. 2 tablespoons of ginger. I love this little squeeze bottle. It just makes this so easy. And I like the ginger, so I might go a little heavy on that one. I'm also going to add some fresh garlic. I have 3 cloves here. And because I don't love fresh onions, I am gonna put my green onions in right now, although you can save that to the side for a garnish for later. I prefer them cooked, so this is what I'm doing. That's the great part about cooking. You can do whatever you want. You don't like raw onions? Don't eat raw onions. And I'm finishing up with 4 teaspoons of sesame oil. That's 3 teaspoons and a little extra right there. This is my sauce ingredients. So I'm just giving it a quick little stir to get the brown sugar and everything mixed together. Next up comes my shrimp. I do have 2 pounds of thawed shrimp. Shells and tails off and deveined. I did rinse it. Last but not least, I'm going to pop in as much of this broccoli as I can fit in here. I wanted to fit all of it. Is that too much? What do you think? I think that's gonna work. Lid on. It's not gonna work if it's on backwards. Lid on. Make sure this is set to seal. Here's the crazy part. I'm gonna go manual but I'm taking the time down to 0 minutes. So it will heat up obviously to come to temperature. It'll probably take 10 minutes to come up to temperature, and in that time we'll cook the shrimp and broccoli to what I would like. Okay, my 0 minutes is over, so quick release time. Stand far, far away. Oh, you guys got a facial. Did you know that the Instant Pot lid goes like that? What? So at this point, we can thicken up our sauce a little bit, because as you can see, it's quite runny down in there, and a lot of water came out of the broccoli when we cooked this. You can see the shrimp is totally cooked now. So we're just gonna do a little slurry of cornstarch, cold water, some sriracha. You don't have to add this if you don't like it spicy, but we do. I did turn the Instant Pot to the saute function. I'm gonna do like a solid tablespoon, maybe a tablespoon and a half. And this is just cold water and cornstarch mixed together, that's it. So once it gets boiling, this will thicken up really quickly. What was your favorite recipe that I shared today? Which is the one you are going to make first? All those recipes are in a free download down in the description box if you want to go check that out. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. If you want to see any other cooking videos, check out a full cooking playlist down below. And if you want to hang out for future nonsense, hit the subscribe button if you have not done that yet. And until next time, happy eating.